be honest with you, I love the scary dog privilege trope. Just no, eat it up. It is so fun to me. Sure, it's not the best when it comes to just filmmaking, but there's something just so fun about just this person walking and just this protective kind of spirit, entity, person just behind him. It's so good to watch. And that honestly is one of my favorite parts about this film. Hi, I'm Pratiksha Mishra and you're listening to my review of Salaar Part 1, The Ceasefire, or just Ceasefire. सलार शुरू होता है दो छोटे लड़कों की कहानी से एंड वी फाइंड आउट दैट वन ऑफ देम मेक्स अ प्रॉमिस टू द अदर कि तुझे अगर कोई हाथ भी लगाएगा तो आई विल ऑलवेज शो अप टू प्रोटेक्ट यू. प्रभास plays Deva and Prithviraj Sukumaran plays Vardha, his best friend but also a very powerful figure and we'll find out later why. इस पहले वाले सीन में वी फाइंड आउट कि जो वर्धा का स्टेप ब्रदर है हैज टेकन हिज नथनी विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू हिज क्लैन, सो हिज फ्रेंड गोज एंड गेट्स इट बैक फॉर हिम. But this protectiveness extends beyond that also. Because of something that happens, Deva's character and his mother have to leave the place they're in and these friends get separated. But बहुत सालों बाद उनका ऐसे पुनर्मिलन भी होता है. After he makes this promise to his friend, he essentially makes a promise to his mother कि ठीक है मैं लड़ाई झगड़ा नहीं करूँगा. He is just going from promise to promise. This man is making one pinky promise after another and उसी के बीच में उसकी पूरी लाइफ चली जा रही है. उससे पहले स्टोरी में एंट्री होती है आद्या की, played by Shruti Hassan. Her life is in danger because of something her father has done, but we don't exactly know yet what. And also her character does not have enough meat or substance कि आप उसको मतलब याद करना चाहो भी. Like if the story that is being narrated starts fully in the past, and this is where we get to see how good director Prashant Neel is in like world building, in creating a world in itself. Khansar is populated by 3 major tribes और उनके जो 3 leaders हैं they lead their people together, लेकिन इन तीनों के बीच में थोड़ा सा मुठभेड़ हो जाता है, some झगड़ा happens and one person, Mannar, becomes the leader of all the people. There is some story behind like which tribe ends up how they kind of play into each other's power politics. That all I won't reveal to you. Go watch it in the film, mostly because that's a major part of any story that you will get. But now Mannar का जो throne है that is obviously under threat. That is how power politics work. That is how throne politics, if that's the thing, works. Vardha is Mannar's son. For his own protection, Vardha decides to go call someone just in place of the armies that everyone else has brought out. When it comes to action, the action sequences are absolutely amazing. The film at some point is just one action sequence after another, and it is this dizzying pace that Prashant Neel is using to keep his audience hooked. In any other director's hands, I think this would have been a little jarring, but यहाँ पे it has the intended effect. आप हर scene को just you're watching and you're stuck to your seat because it's mesmerizing, and that also happens because of every other element that is in play. Technical aspects से लेके जैसे camera work हो गया हो, sound design हो गया हो, editing हो, just the action choreography like I mentioned, the setting, the production if I haven't mentioned that, and most importantly Prabhas, the star at the helm of all of this. Salaar is the kind of film that is resting very heavily on its star's shoulders, and here in this genre, in this world, it makes sense. सलार में प्रभास इज प्लेइंग अ मैन हु इज प्रैक्टिकली इनविंसिबल. मतलब वो एक हाथ मार के लोगों को उड़ा दे रहे हैं, लोगों को फेंक के और लोगों को उड़ा दे रहे हैं. द वायलेंस इन सलार इज limitless. There is violence, there is gore. Though if you're someone who enjoys like gore or watches a lot of gore, this is pretty standard stuff. आपको इससे ज़्यादा उतना फर्क पड़ेगा नहीं, but it still exists. And honestly, this is how you do violence in cinema. It is like you're watching, limbs are getting hacked off, heads are rolling here and there, and the entire time you're genuinely just focused on just the magic that's happening on screen. It's not great magic, violence is always bad, but as cinematography, as art, it is just, again, like I said, mesmerizing to watch. The one kind of disturbing or weird thing in this film is how often sexual violence against women and children is used as a plot point. That is a theme that filmmakers sure should explore because it happens in society. It is a societal evil that we should also include in our cinema because, like it or not, cinema has influence, so might as well use it to influence for the good. It would be a good theme, but the problem is कि इस मूवी में उसे जिस तरह से डील किया है is not very nuanced, is not very smart, क्योंकि the entire time it feels like these women characters or the children for that matter are all just damsels in distress waiting for the hero to save them. तो वो plot points बन के रह जाते हैं. It feels like this theme or these storylines are there in the film just to make the hero look better, just to make his hero's journey look better, and that doesn't help at all. Shruti Hassan's character, who is seemingly introduced as an important plot point, also kind of becomes kind of a love interest. She has this whole ishq hua moment, this whole like slow motion mein watching the hero moment, but even that's kind of brushed aside. Or dusre times mein, even when we get to see a chance of the women getting some agency or getting to have their revenge arc, they literally become background music. They literally become just an a cappella for the hero to have his action sequence. When it comes to the plot also, film mein utna zyada kuch dekhne ko hai nahi. It felt like I was just watching Ugram again with just a KGF jacket. KGF Chapter 1 was a brilliant film. ठीक है, उसको recreate नहीं कर सकते हैं. That's what makes these films special. But when you're kind of having the same palette, also have a similar theme to your previous film, you need much more to keep the audience's attention. वरना तो मैं जाके KGF या Ugram या कोई previous film ही देख लूँ ना. Why will I invest myself in Salaar? One character, one female character actually who gets a bit of a meaty role is Shriya Reddy as Rama. उनके character में है this kind of simmering rage, and you see that regalness to her character, जो also we see in Prithviraj's case, but it's less rage and more just waiting to strike. And इन दोनों का जो ये combination है, ये जो नोक-झोंक है, नोक-झोंक नहीं, it's full out war, but whatever is happening there, if we had focused on that, Salaar would have been a much more interesting film, but वो भी थोड़ा सा sidelines में चला जाता है. Even her character is relegated to the sidelines. She also has someone who's her right hand, who is her intel. He has a right hand who is essentially this invincible killing machine. This entire thing is just so rich with premise, but कुछ नहीं हो पाता है. I was watching Salaar and thinking this film could have been shorter, could have been better, but the action sequences kept distracting me. ऐसा लग रहा था कि I'm sitting in a cheap roller coaster, but it's still a roller coaster, so it's fun. It's an out and out Prabhas Masi action film with Prithviraj Sukumaran matching steps again and again and again. So honestly, in general, Salaar Part 1, Ceasefire की जो दुनिया है, I hate films that have these long names because I keep forgetting them, but the world is just so immersive कि आपको जब आप थिएटर में हो ना, उसके flaws ज़्यादा दिखते नहीं हैं. And honestly, even as I was watching Part 1, I was excited to see what Part 2 could do. I gasped in the end when I found out what like the secret of the film is, even though it was pretty predictable. And for that reason, mostly because I'm excited for Part 2, no matter what the flaws of Part 1 are, and I think that's pretty much a win for any film. My rating for Salaar Part 1 Ceasefire are 2.5 stars out of 5.